Recent discoveries that can change the world completely. Printable batteries. We have come to embrace, in limited quantities, the normalcy of the concept of printing objects with the introduction of 3D printing. The utility of 3D printed arms has been fiercely discussed, and the first 3D printed houses are currently being constructed in Amsterdam. Nice, but are they game changers? So what if you could print batteries? That is unquestionably a start. And a group of Harvard University materials scientists have done exactly that, using just a 3D printer to create tiny rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. There are almost infinite uses for these modern batteries. Inventors would have better access to small sources of electricity, beneficial in the production of micro-robotics or medical equipment. Nature speculates that we might eventually print whole electronic devices from scratch, designing not only the shell of a hearing aid, for instance, but the amplifier, speaker, electronics, and power supply in the ultimate do-it-yourself project. The team strives to develop more usable materials such as circuit boards or whole electronic machines. Dissolvable circuits. If health technology aspires to be fully integrative, one big, glaring challenge would need to be overcome by those working on it. It is difficult to view the body in a non-intrusive way. We can make tiny computer chips that are small enough to swallow and send information back to the surface world. However, so to speak, what goes in has to come out. This might not be the case in the near future. His discovery of a biodegradable remote-controlled, power-harvesting circuit, which could be key in electroceuticals, electronic instruments that can traverse the body to heal internal wounds or distribute substance before dissolving, was published in Wired in 2013. Rogers used biodegradable materials to build ultra-thin remote-controlled circuits with radio transmitters that melt in under an hour. There are infinite possibilities and implementations, and Rogers and his team have already started investigating them. He created a slim, dissolvable battery this year that enables the dissolvable circuits, including in deep tissue or bone, to retain strength. Earth-like planet. There doesn't appear to be a generally agreed concept of Earth-like when it comes to worlds. We might consider rushing rivers, mountain ranges, probably extraterrestrial existence. Not so for Kepler-78b, discovered in the Cygnus constellation by scientists reviewing data from NASA's Kepler telescope last October. The swirling lava and 80% greater mass of Kepler-78b does not look anything like the world we all know and love. Yes, it's distinctly un-Earth-like in several aspects. Yet Space.com says Kepler-78b is the closest thing to an Earth twin known outside our solar system in scale and composition. Since the density is very similar to Earth's, 5.5 grams per cubic centimeter for Earth, 5.3 to 5.57 grams per cubic centimeter for Kepler-78b, scientists consider the universe to have a similar structure to our own, with an iron core and rocky interior. As for the quest to find a world genuinely Earth-like, interesting, though also far from habitable, is Kepler-78b. Ancient Europeans vanish. It's not like we're any skeptics of woo-woo, but it's interesting what happened 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. The Europeans have changed. More precisely, they have totally modified their biology, and no one is even sure why. The Australian Centre for Ancient DNA at the University of Adelaide studied the genomes of many 7,500-year-old skeletons uncovered in central Germany, tracking the genetic markers of the time. The bulk of their results are normal, tracking the demographic movements and migrations of Germany's first farmers from the farming revolution to the present day. Interesting, but not enough to deter a layperson in their tracks. Others, including the discovery that the genetic code of today's Europeans shows just a passing similarity to what we would believe to be their forefathers, are more shocking. Adelaide Professor Alan Cooper, director of the centre, said in a statement, "The genetic markers of this first pan-European culture, which was obviously quite effective, were then unexpectedly replaced about 4,500 years ago, and we don't know why. We don't know what unusual occurrence prevented this transition, though it's impossible to be a Doctor Who-style invasion, but we do know we're excited for historians and archaeologists to join together and solve the case."